Good day, happy travelers. Seven Continents Travel Agency here today talking about Royal Caribbean's shore excursion options for Rome, Italy. So you're one of two people if you're watching this. One, you are thinking about booking a cruise with Royal Caribbean, but you want to see the shore excursion options for Rome. Or you are already booked with Royal Caribbean and you want to see the shore excursion options for Rome. It's not really easy to see them if you haven't booked. Normally, they start showing you after you booked. I haven't found a way to see it without being booked. And this is for any number of the ships. I'll be showing for Aces of the Seas. But if they do ship swaps, oftentimes. And so, regardless of the ship, this is who they partner with in Rome. And what you will see is the price, the percent off, what's sailing, what's left. We'll cover the description, the duration, the departure time. What you will see, if there's any height, weight, age, or limitations, we'll cover all of that. And the first thing that you'll notice here is there's lots of little pink things. And Royal Caribbean shore excursions change. It's not unusual to see them change daily. So they go from like 0% off to 5. And I get emails all the time, save up to 30% off. I have not seen an excursion yet for up to 30%, but 5, 10, 15, 20 is pretty popular. So let's hop into this first one here. And before we hop into it, just one moment. It's worth noting that if you are looking for a travel agent, at the end of this, I will give you some details. But right now, I just really want to cover the shore excursions. And if you're not looking for a travel agent, well, then you're really wanting to hear about the shore excursions. So the first thing to note is the price, and they are they can be steep. But even if you're in Italy, like if you go to like I don't know Viator, for example, there's not it's marginal. The savings is it becomes complicated because if you book an excursion from the port of Rome, Civitavecchia, which is it's not like neighboring. It's not like you get off the ship and you're in Rome. You're a pretty good haul. So you got to get transportation into the city. This shore excursion is the best of Rome. Vatican, Colosseum, Trevi Fountain, St. Peter. So you will see everything. It is a busy day and it's $440, but you'll get into everything. 10 and a half hours, leaves at 7:30 in the morning, and the activity level is strenuous. It will be busy, and there will be 24 people per vehicle. This stuff does tend to sell out. We're looking at this in November, and normally maybe after the Thanksgiving sales, I guess, Christmas. Nothing says Christmas gift like a 7-day cruise in the Mediterranean. But so there's availability now. But all right, so the tour is conducted in English. Here's some of the details here. I won't read this verbatim. You can pause, and it lets you know how long you're going to wait, what you're going to see, that there's no lockers. You need to check bags. You're going to go through security. When you're in St. Peter's Basilica, you need to cover your shoulders. Entrances might be closed. There might be a Pope's speech, which complicates things. So there's all sorts of details here that you'll need to be mindful of, and those details are there. I covered them in high level. If you're going here, pause so that you can read them in greater detail. But if you're in Rome, this is your one chance. You don't think you're coming back, that's a great sampler, and that will give you everything. Then there's the Imperial Rome with this is the small group version. So instead of being in a 25-person group for 447, 434, 10 and a half hours, leaves at 7:45. And you will be in a smaller group, more intimate, more interaction with your tour guide as you go through the destinations of interest, and you can see all the stuff, all everything here that's noted. Rome is one of my favorite places that I've ever been, so I always recommend, if you have the chance, these tours really give you it's kind of like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet. There's salad, and then there's prime rib, and this is the prime rib. This would be the highlight of the cruise, in my opinion. Other places go to nice, Naples is nice, and Florence. That's great, but these, this is for me the highlight. What if you just want to go to Rome, get off and do Rome your own way? Well, there's a train from the port to Rome, $101 for an adult, $74 for kids. It gives you 10 hours, leaves at 8:15, and a leisurely 60-minute nonstop train ride. and then you via escort, and it will take you to a shuttle bus from the cruise port to the train station, and then you can end up at St. Peter's train station, and then you'll get all sorts of information from your escort. There's some highlights of what it does. And then here's some other details about some steps. I mean, some of this infrastructure has been around since, Julius and Augustus and Nero and all the folks from back in the day. It's been updated, but it's just strange seeing things that are there like the Pantheon and the Circus Maximo. There's a lot there. What if you want to eat? What if you want to go to Rome and then eat some Roman culture and food? About $200, a little cheap, marginally cheaper, $4 cheaper for a kid. Leaves at 9.5 hours long, and you will see the castle that's in front of St. Peter's Square and the Trevi Fountain. So you see a lot of the famous things, and you're with a guide, so you won't miss any of the important items there. It takes about 1.5 hours each way, subject to travel. So you're not in Rome for 9.5 hours. You're in Rome for about 6.5 hours. You're like, wow, that's a long time. Maybe. Definitely not. You could really spend a month in Rome and probably not see everything that there is. You get a pretty good idea. I spent a week in Rome, and it was just barely. I need to go back. I didn't even see the Roman Forum. I saw the Colosseum. I didn't even see the Roman Forum, for crying out loud. I was like, how did I miss that? It was right behind me when I was in the Colosseum. I didn't even do the underground Colosseum tour because it was closed at the time. Here's the best of Rome. Colosseum outside visit, so you don't get to go in. So $322 for an adult, $20 cheaper for kids. Leaves at 7:30 in the morning for 10.5 hours. And you see the highlights there. You see the overview. You see the notes. And if this is something that, hey, whoa, I want to see more, that pause button is for you. It lets you know Vatican will be closed for the June 25th sailing if you're on the Symphony of the Seas. So those notes there, and it can really close for any number of reasons, but that is, at least they're being proactive in telling you. Rome in a day. Well, let's take a look at that. $106, $79 for kids, 9.5 hours, and you'll stroll through the historic city of Rome on your own. And that is, a great opportunity. There's lots of tour buses there. So if you were going to do this, if you're, going to see it on your own, or just take the transportation up there, it's get on one of those hop on, hop off bus tours, and they take you to where you need to go. But this looks like it's going to take you to where you want to go. You get 1.5 hours there, 1.5 hours there, 1 hour wherever you need to be. That's where you need to go. All right. And then if you want to do the Taste of Rome in Spanish, there's the Spanish version of it. Here's the Essential Rome with St. Peter's Basilica. So you're going to mix and match. $300, 10.5 hours, and you get a tasty Italian meal. I've had pizza, pasta. So everything just tasted better there. Maybe it's in my head. Lets you know about how long the drive is, conducted in English, the details, that you'll be walking. So if walking's an issue, 250 steps, 3 miles, uneven, those are all good things to know if that is a concern to you. The small group, the Eternal City small group tour, $268, $259, a little cheaper for kids. 10.5 hours. A lot of these are leaving at 7:30, and the details there. It just sends you all the way up there. You get to look at the tapestries. There's a Roman Forum, so I would be able to close that gap. It lets you know about closures, steps, duration, mileage. Get headsets. If you don't return the headset, that's €50. Which actually right now I believe is closer to $50 than it was when I went. €50 was about $62 at the time I went. All right, so there we go. So if you don't want to be in a big group, want to see a little bit, here's the Explore Rome excursion, $92. The cheaper it is, it typically means the less that you will have, less involvement from a tour guide you will have. 9 hours. and it takes you up into Rome at your own pace, drops you off, and you'll enjoy 5 hours freely. Just get on one of those buses I was talking about. I think it was the Red Bus tours. And then it lets you know how long the drive is. And there you go. So if you didn't want to have somebody tell you how to tour, what about Vatican behind the scenes? This would be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind a catacomb tour. $331 for an adult, 10.5 hours, leaves at 7:30, and you will go to the Pope's summer residence, various palaces. You can read those details there. You get a nice 3-course meal, small group, and 1.5 miles of walking, 200 steps, standing for extended periods of time, and those details are all there for you to read in more detail if that's what you want to do. What about Panoramic Rome? Nice opportunity to take some pictures. A picture-taking excursion is the idea here. It's having a little bit of a hiccup, so we will back up. We will try to reload that one more time. Here it is. Nice view of the fountain there. 5 hours, leaves at 9:30. Oh man. So enjoy the beauty and keeping your camera handy for the photo. And you just kind of, I'd say rushed through is kind of, knowing that the drive is 90 minutes each way, you will get a very rushed experience. But hey, a rushed experience is better than no experience. So those are the details for that one. Here's the Colosseum exploration. All right, $230 per guest, 5% off, 10.5 hours. And this one, you will tour the items listed in the overview there. You get to Trevi's Fountain, Imperial Rome, and it is in English. Those are the details. I'll scroll down, and then I will go back. Alcohol may be available, so drink responsibly. Visit in Spanish, and visit to Rome in Spanish, and then the Gladiators and Colosseum inside visit. So you get to go to a little bit more of the gladiator experience, 9.5 hours. It's really cool being inside the amphitheater. It's just difficult. I was there, couldn't really believe it, and just trying to imagine. I'm in a place where a lot of things happened. And I won't necessarily talk about the history because I think we all know the history, but a place where a lot of people went. What about some olive oil tasting? Now, if you gave me a bunch of olive oils, I probably couldn't tell you the difference, but it's a 4-hour excursion, $80 bucks, 75 for kids, and you will travel on a bus to the countryside. And long story short, taste some olive oil. And if that is something you've been longing to do, you have a hankering for some olive oil, well, add that to your list. All right, here we go. 5 spots left. Sightseeing by Tuk Tuk. $400, 9 hours, and there you go. You can wave. All right, these are the details. So seeing much of the stuff, we're just kind of changing up the mode of how you look at it, and those are for you. If you need Spanish olive oil taste testing, okay. What about maybe get away from the olive oil? We want to try some wine. $100 for an adult, 97 for kids. 4-hour excursion, take you off to an adventure and try some wine. Bring your kids, $97, $4 cheaper. I don't know how many kids are going to be doing the wine tasting, but I don't know. Now maybe the kids might enjoy some trolley train and gelato. $74 for everybody. 3 hours, leaves at 3, and you will. It must be close to the port, and you can try gelato. There was a gelato stand, maybe a quarter mile away from the Coliseum, so Yeah, I don't want to say ice cream is ice cream, but it tasted familiar. But it tasted better because I was near the Coliseum. What about what is it? Ostia Antica excavations? So if you want to see like some live unearthings, you're in luck. 110 for an adult, $5 cheaper for kids. Leaves at 8, and pretty quick jaunt up the road, and you can see one of the military bases there, and take pictures and selfies, and let your friends know that hey, while you're at home, I'm not. Here's a hop on, hop off transfer to Rome, $83, and they'll get you on the bus for just pay attention to that, and they'll tell you just pay attention to that last bus back because that is how you will get there. And then the double decker, just a couple other things to note: if you're on the top and the sun's out, that sun, have some sunscreen handy, and because sometimes the bus can stop and the wind ain't winding and cooling you down, it can get toasty. It can definitely get toasty up there. Best of tour selfie. There's a little selfie excursion. Here's the what is it? The bag. Well, here's a village lunch. $142. If this is something you're looking to do, leaves at 9, 7.5 hours, and you can go to the Dying City. And actually, I saw this on the Smithsonian Channel. Pretty cool little city. It's just like time hasn't stopped it, but you got to do some walking, as you saw there. The cars don't necessarily travel up there. Undiscovered. You want to see some leather goods tasting? $150. Well, you can go to this town and look at some leather goods. Maybe not taste the leather goods. There'll be other things to taste. The leather goods seem to be boots, bags, shoes. Well, things typically made of leather. So if that's on your bucket list, then you can do that. Explore Rome in Spanish. Then we got Backstage Rome, $178, a little cheaper for kids. 9.5 hours. One leaves at 7:30, one leaves at 7:45, and you will go and see some things that aren't necessarily on the big to do. Just some like other really cool things to see, and that is, so if you've seen the Coliseum before and the other major attractions, this is still cool to see. What about cooking lessons? $376. You can go and take some Italian cooking. 7 hours, leaves at 9:30. Close, 12 miles from the center of Rome. Well, closer, maybe not close-ish. Then you want a foodie walking tour. 2.5 hours, leaves at 10:30. You just hang out and just do some walking tour at the port of Rome there, Civitavecchia. Those are the notes. Those are the details. And then if you are in need of accessible panoramic Rome, the mostly accessible tours, they are limited. So if you see them there and you know that's what you're going to need, I would book that because there's limited availability on those beyond the limited availability for these excursions. So, hey, Rome. If this is where you're going, hopefully you saw something you wanted to do. If you're looking for a travel agent, I am a travel agent, and I'm happy to talk to you. You can reach me. I'm this fellow right here, this guy. I'm Emerson, and if you just want to talk, have questions, have a port of call you want me to cover, and happy to help you out there. Being a travel agent just means I get to talk about travel all day, and if that isn't compensation enough, I don't know what is. And until the next video, I hope you travel safe.